Good afternoon. Welcome in. It's Where the 99 Lead. It's a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, about the University of Pikeville and the many opportunities, both educational and athletic opportunities offered by the university. I'm Andrew Joyce. My guest this afternoon, University of Pikeville women's basketball coach Bill Watson. And Coach, where the 99 Lead? Welcome in.
Well, the 99 for me has led nowhere. I'm still here. I graduated in 95 from Pikeville College, and fortunately enough for me, they asked me to be the women's coach, and I've been here ever since. So I've had a good time here.
You've seen a lot of transition with the university and Pikeville College, of course, during that time as well.
I have, and it's amazing where we from where we started when I first came here 19 years ago as a volunteer assistant with the men's program and a student to where we are now. We're the expo center and the parking garage, and now we're building an athletic facility next to our campus gymnasium. The baseball field wasn't here when I started. The softball field wasn't here when I started. So a lot of change and progress for the good.
And it seems like just yesterday when you arrived in town, because I recall you and I both had much more hair.
We had both of us had a lot of
We had
hair.
full heads then.
Actually, my first year in Eastern Kentucky, you were my boss as an assigning secretary
Yeah,
for baseball and
yeah.
softball. So we've come a long way since then.
We absolutely have. Of course, we're the 99 lead. We talk about the 99 steps, the landmark 99 steps that lead to the campus, but we also talk about the 99 steps and as they lead from the university campus back into the community and into the world, where proudly the University of Pikeville sends graduates, one graduate at a time, changing this world. We're going to talk women's basketball today, but maybe less X's and O's than you would hear on a typical coach's show. First of all, they're called student athletes, and student comes first in that. And I know you take a lot of pride in your team's successes in the classroom as well. So, first, let's talk about student athletes, how that relates to your program, maybe a chance for you to show a little pride in your program because I know you have an outstanding group year in and year out.
Well, we're sort of biased in that respect, and I'll be honest. When we recruit girls high school basketball players or to become women's college players, we look very very strongly at academics and to see if they're going to be a successful collegiate student. If they are, then we proceed with from the basketball standpoint. But we always check their academics. We in the past we've also checked their with their principals and some teachers to see how they handle pressure in class and things like that. But this is my 15th year. In 14 full years, we've been very very fortunate. We've had 14 NAIA student athletes or scholar athletes is what they're called at the
Sure.
NAIA. Essentially, they're academic All-Americans.
Right.
We have had there's only been 3 or 4 years where we haven't had at least one, and we've had multiple people several years. So we do take pride in that, and we always stress it in practice. We stress it either from a study hall standpoint or a tutoring standpoint if they need some help. But I've been spoiled. We talk about it and we stress it, but believe me, it's nothing that I do. I mean, when they come here to play basketball for us, they know what they're here for. They're here to get their degree, and
Sure.
they're here to go to class and get their education. And for the most part, I've been spoiled. We've had young women that know that, and they've gotten the job done.
Of course, you've had players that have gone on to many different careers, including coaching. They've followed in the footsteps of you. They've taken that education degree and they've gone into the field of coaching as well. And I know that's something that, as a coach, you look at with a great amount of pride as well when you see those former players coaching on the sideline somewhere.
It does, and they call you for ideas and suggestions and to bounce things their own ideas off of you. And we've been fortunate. Misty Prater is a local coach. Courtney Mercer has been a coach at Pike Central. Made the Final Four with when they had that great run at Pike
Sure.
Central. Amanda Collins, Kelly Blackburn actually went to Oakland, Michigan. It was a D1 assistant for a couple of years before she came back home. And sort of biased. Selena Williams played for me. Now she's coaching my daughter at Johnson Central.
Sure.
So, you do get a special pride in that, but you also get a special sense of maybe they are listening to some of the things that we're talking about from a practice standpoint, a life standpoint, because we've had lawyers, we've had doctors. We've actually had my first 2 years, Rosemary Gillum. She just won an honorary award from our alumni. She actually worked in the JAG office in Washington, D.C., Judge Advocate General. So, we do take special pride in turning out great young women who contribute back to society.
It's truly what this program is all about. Where the 99 lead back into the community, back into the world, and truly changing our world one graduate at a time. Talking with Bill Watson, the head women's basketball coach at the University of Pikeville. And, Coach, we have to talk basketball. And before we talk about the upcoming season, we're in the early stages of this 2011-12 season. Let's back up. Let's take a look at last year's season. Your thoughts on last year's team and where you go from here.
Well, if you look, on from a record standpoint, 19-12, fairly solid year from a wins and loss standpoint. But I felt like we gave a couple of games away late. We had a couple of injuries, excuse me, late in the season that affected the way we attacked some things, and ultimately we're probably 3 or 4 possessions from finishing 4th in the conference.
Sure.
With a great shot of making the semifinals in back-to-back years of the conference tournament. So the ending was is a disappointment as far as that. But we don't really define success on wins and losses. We had 6 young ladies that finished their eligibility last year. 5 of them have graduated. We're still waiting on the one to finish at Christmas this year. So they're all going on with their lives and stuff. But our returning people realize how close we were to making another step to where we want to get to. So hopefully they can take our freshmen under their wing, so to speak, this year, and we can make that next step.
And again, as you talk about players, as they use up eligibility, they're also graduating on time or very close to on time. And again, as it relates to student athlete and student coming first. Last year's team, we put it behind now. 19-10. I know you've gotten into fall workouts with a new team. And every season on the campus of the University of Pikeville and campuses across the country, those rosters change, especially on a small school level. Let's talk about some returning players from last year's team and talk about your roster.
Well, we're dressing 16 right now. We've had a couple of injuries early. We actually lost one young lady, a new player, Lauren Light. She had an injury, and she's going to become a student assistant for the next 2 years. But our returning roster is very solid. I mean, we have 3 returning starters. We have 4 returning of our top 7. But I think you have to look at the point guard, Megan Mosley. She's been a 4-year starter since she's been here. Academic All-Conference the last 2 years, and Academic All-American last year. Has seen no reason why she won't be this year. Honorable mention All-Conference last year. I felt she got slided a little bit. Perhaps if we'd have won, finished 20-11 or something, she might have made that top 10. But I don't think any coach in the conference would not want her on her basketball team. She drives us. She's a great leader. Our kids look at her, respect her. We got Lene Schaus back, post player, 6'3", who doesn't do a lot of scoring for us. We don't ask her to do a lot of scoring for us, but she's a tremendous rebounder, a great help side defender, which allows us to get out and gamble a little bit on the perimeter because we have some quickness on the perimeter. Very, very good passer for her size, so we're going to utilize her more in the category that we used Whitney Compton last year. Have her step out and become a passer and run some offense through her this year. Excuse me. Sally Roberts is our 3rd starter back. Guarded 4 different positions for us last year. Lindsey Wilson has a young lady, Ashley Rainey, that transferred from the University of Louisville that plays the post. And the second half of our game at Lindsey Wilson, we put Sally on her, and she had 4 points the second half, I believe. She's just a tenacious defender. Her offense has come a long way. She's looking to score a little bit more. She can put the ball on the floor a little bit more than what she could when she got here, and all that helps us in the long run. Brogan Conley is returning. She's a sophomore. She was the freshman of the year in the conference with a conference that had 4 or 5 very, very good freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So we were excited for her last year, and we're looking for big things out of her. She's had double figures. We scrimmaged 3 games, 3 times so far. She's had double figures in 2 of those. One of those was a 22-point game Saturday. But she gives us size on the perimeter, about 5'11", 6 foot on the perimeter, can shoot the 3, can put it on the floor, rebounds very, very well. Very, very knowledgeable of the basketball game itself. A great student of the game. Not blessed with the greatest quickness in the world,
Right.
but she makes up for what she doesn't have quickness-wise with her basketball IQ.
Sure.
Jaleesa Jones and Kendra Badgett are both seniors returning from last year. They haven't played a whole lot, to be honest. Jaleesa is a very, very good shooter. Handles the basketball fairly well, good defender. Kendra has been injured for 4 years since she's been here. She's played very, very few minutes because of foot, ankle, and knee issues. So far this fall, she's been injury-free. She'll back us up some at the 4 spot and the 5 spot. Excuse me. And then Kayla Stamper and Brittany Swindle are returning players as well. They're local people. Brittany played at Shelby Valley. She's coming off of an injury this fall where she's just now getting back in the swing of things. But down the road, I really do think she'll help us some this year as well as the next 2 years. Kayla Stamper is about a 5'7". Honestly, she's about a 5'7" post player.
Yeah.
But she's had to step out for us. Averaged 25 and 17 and 25 and 18 the last 2 years in high school at Wolfe County High School. She can score. She has a knack for the ball coming to her off the glass. And has become a very, very good defender on defense. We just have to make sure she knows what we're doing offensively.
Right.
But she'll give us some depth at the 3. Jennifer Grant is a returning shooter from Florida. She was a sophomore last year, saw some minutes, but she gets on a roll. There's not a better shooter in the conference. Now the problem is she's backing up Brogan right now at the 3. We're trying to get her some minutes, but she can really, really shoot the basketball.
Right. And, of course, taking a look at a lot of returning players, a solid group of returning players with your squad, and some other key newcomers, and where they come from.
Well, right now we have 7 freshmen of our 16 that we're dressing. So we talked earlier about a whole new roster, and it really is a whole new roster.
Sure.
We have experience back, but we also have talent coming in behind them as backups right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whitney Bell Jackson is probably the class, so to speak, of our recruiting class. 6'2" post player from Clay County High School, All-State, Herald Leader, All-State, Louisville Courier Journal. Has D1 talent, has D1 size. Wanted to stay close to home and wanted to stay at a smaller school. And she brought along with her point guard friend, Kayla Smith. And Kayla is really playing out of position for us. She's more of a 1-2 combination, but for us, she'll play some 3. Mm-hmm. Handles the basketball very well, shoots the basketball well, and knows how to find Whitney Bell.
That's the thing about teammates coming
exactly.
as a package.
That helps. At the 1, we have 2 freshman point guards. Sydney Mason from Little Miami, Ohio, left-hander, really shoots the basketball well. Is learning the college game right now. Sydney Wainscott is the 8th region player of the year, and Bell Jackson was the 13th region player of the year.
Right.
Sydney Wainscott was the 8th region player of the year. Very, very good defensively, very solid with the basketball in her hands, makes good decisions. Again, she's learning to handle the point guard slot at our level. But I feel comfortable in our backup people behind Megan Mosley right now. Excuse me. Kristen Haney is about a 5'5", 5'6", 2 guard. Can also play the 1 some if need be, but she's from Dunbar High School in Lexington. Is actually the niece of Danny Haney. Used to be the head coach at Lexington Catholic boys back in the 90s.
Sure.
When they were making their run to the state tournament and dominating the 11th region. And again, her basketball IQ is off the charts because of that family. Quite possibly the quickest young lady we've ever had.
Right.
we've had some quick people here since I've been at Kelly Blackburn, Sally Roberts, obviously. But the other day in practice said, Sally said, Coach, I can't guard her today. And when Sally says that, I mean, the girl can get up and down.
Right.
So shoots it very, very well, can get the ball to the rim. But she'll come off the bench and play some minutes for us. Brooke Coleman from Shelby Valley,
Right.
excuse me, is playing a little bit out of position because of our needs. Will give us backup minutes at the 4, even though she's a little bit smaller. But what she can do, she can step out and shoot the basketball, handles it well, and passes it well. So we'll use her in that capacity as opposed to a true post-up 4-man. Who's the Nicole Lyons? She's been sick for about a week, and she unfortunately for her she missed both of our scrimmages Saturday.
Right.
But about 6'1", a very, very athletic post player. Will guard you, will run the floor, will rebound. She's probably our best defensive rebounder. She's a little bit behind, very raw offensively. But we'll get her where she needs to be. Right now she doesn't have to get us 15 points a game.
Sure.
But we'll incorporate her in. We'll get her minutes here and there, backing up Lene and in the post, and hopefully by tournament time she's a little bit more relaxed and can help us on the offensive end.
Tough transition for a freshman to make the move to the college game, but it sounds like a tremendous recruiting class, and it's good that the program is at such a level that you don't have to expect freshmen to come in and contribute significant minutes when they arrive on campus.
Well, that's what you want to try to do. I mean, we want to try to have a good program, not just a good year, and then every couple 3 or 4 years have another good year. We want to have a program.
Sure.
And I think that not just on the basketball floor, academically, community-wise, we want to be a good program. And so that's what we shot for, and we do that every year. Sometimes you make some mistakes in recruiting. Everybody does. I get asked all the time, some people that get away, so to speak.
Sure.
Well, why didn't you go get them? Well, sometimes, we offer and, kids just want to get away for a while.
Right.
And see what else is out there. And, we don't begrudge them that opportunity. We help them out. We tell them all the time. I hope it works out for you. If not, you can always come back. If you need me to help you out in anything, anyway, just let me know.
Sure.
But we do have a very, very solid freshman class. And our other 3 classes, sophomore, junior, senior, we have 3 in each. So I think we're solid for the next 4 or 5 years. Right. Now we just need to continue that.
We'll talk about this year's schedule in just a moment. It's Where the 99 Lead. It's a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, talking about the University of Pikeville, and today talking University of Pikeville women's basketball. Head women's coach Bill Watson with us today. And Coach, you mentioned just a moment ago about in the community, athletically, academically, and being involved in the community. Programs are out there and programs that are established. Your program very involved in community outreach projects and the NAI Champions of Character. Let's talk about some of the community projects that your program takes on.
Well, in the past, and we don't do them all every year, but in the past, we've the first 4 or 5 years we went into the elementary school, Pikeville Elementary, and volunteered our time and read or helped in the art class or the PE class, whatever that teacher asked us to do. Since then, we've migrated a little bit. We help out with the Habitat for Humanity bill, the women's bill. We've done that 4 or 5 years. Sure. We've had Girl Scout clinics. One of our professors, Chandra Masner, is big into the Girl Scouts, and we've had a Girl Scout clinic with them the last 3 or 4 years. And it's funny because some of those girls now are getting into the high school age, and I'll see them playing. I say I remember her from the Girl Scout clinic, but we're always looking for things to do like that to give back to the community. And it's great when you see some of those kids come to your games and they say, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?"
Sure.
Or they'll go up to Megan Mosley or Sally Roberts and give them a big hug because they remember working with them in clinics and things like that. But we also, from a standpoint, we have an honorary coaches program that we do essentially for our people on campus, faculty, staff, anyone that wants to come to a practice or a game. We recognize them, and that way they get an idea of what we do from a basketball standpoint to to get ready for games and things like that. And I think the ones that have done it have come with a much better appreciation of the athlete part of the student athlete.
Right.
We've had men and women that really don't have an athletic background that have been a part of this coaching program, and
Sure.
and they walk away amazed at how much
Right.
time and effort we put in from a practice standpoint, and they're very receptive now, more receptive to the idea. They have to miss a class. I'm not going to say we're going to help them, but they take that into consideration a little bit more than what they used to.
Absolutely. You talk about community events and projects and not being able to participate in each one of those every year. I'm not sure a lot of folks in the community and even other people on campus, faculty and staff, if they've never been in that situation, realize that the time demands of a college student athlete, the rigorous academic schedule, trying to stay on schedule for graduation, then the practice schedule, travel schedule as well, and then you throw in some community projects. It's not like these young ladies have a lot of free time
Right.
anyway, but they are out there and they're giving their time on a voluntary basis.
Well, we try. You mentioned free time. We try to give them some free time. I mean, we're not an NCAA Division I program,
Sure.
and we always talk to our recruits that I want them to enjoy the complete college atmosphere. Spend some time in the dorms with the suite mates or dorm mates. Go to the movies, go to the free bowling nights that we have on campus in the fall and in the spring, and every now and then it might overlap, and then if it overlaps, we try to accommodate. But if it overlaps, they're going to be with us basketball. But we try to help them out as much as possible, and the support we get from the community and the support we get from our administration and our faculty and staff is very, very good at the University of Pikeville. It has been ever since I've been here. In fact, there's still 4 or 5 professors here that were here when I was going to school, so they obviously like the atmosphere around as well. One thing we are going to try to do, and Rick Bentley and Reggie Overton and Robert Staggs, our athletic staff, so to speak, right now, are looking into it, is maybe try to do some stuff with the Special Olympics, not just women's basketball, I think from an athletic standpoint, program as a whole. That to me, that'd be a little fairly exciting.
Sure.
My degree's in special education.
Right.
I've never had to use it. So when I graduated, I started coaching here. But that'd be good to give back to some kids, special needs kids, and Reggie has been involved with that before, so he's trying to spearhead that right now.
Of course, Reggie Overton, the current athletics director at the University of Pikeville, where the 99 lead to the University of Pikeville campus and back into the community and into the world. And we talked earlier about the new athletic complex, the Pikeville College Gym. It's being left vacant, or on its way to being left vacant. Already, Kelly Wells' men's basketball team made the move to the Expo Center. Now the women's program has made the move to the Expo Center for games, but also that will become home of the University of Pikeville women's program. Talk about the move to the Expo. Offices, locker rooms, facilities for the women's team as well, I would imagine.
We're in the process of finishing up locker room right now, and it'll be in stages, just like Coach Wells' locker room and offices were with the men. But we're moving down to the Expo. We'll be able to get in from a practice standpoint and a game standpoint November 19th when we open up at home against Georgetown. It's going to be very nice. I mean, it's something, our girls saw the men's new facility, and to be honest, we weren't down there a lot from a practice standpoint. Now we'll be able to get down there more. We can store our stuff down there, and that's a big thing. You're only talking half a mile maybe, but to carry all that stuff down and back, basketballs, ball rack, all that for games, it was very difficult. Well, now we'll have a place to put our stuff and a place to wash our gear and our uniforms and stuff. So we're excited about getting down there. We'll still play 3 or 4 single games this year on campus at the UPike campus. Down the road, hopefully we can move all of our games to the Expo. But right now we have 9 doubleheaders with the men down there. All 9 conference doubleheaders are with the men down there. So we're excited about getting down there. It's just a matter of whenever they tell us we can start moving in.
While the old gym's been home for an awful lot of years, and it still holds a lot of character you're stepping into the future, really, as far as space goes, as far as facilities for the women, and it's a huge upgrade to go to the Expo Center.
It is, and from a recruiting standpoint, we can tell our kids, this is our home now.
Sure.
Um, they see that we play in there, but they don't really understand that, well, this is now our locker room.
Right.
2 months ago, it was an empty space. Now it's going to be our home, and I think from a recruiting standpoint, will help us out even more than what it already has.
You talked about the home opener with Georgetown on November 19th. A couple of other key games on your schedule for this season.
Well, we've got it's kind of a strange schedule, to be honest with you. I have nobody to blame but myself.
Yes.
But we only have 13 home games, and really, if you look at 13 home games, that's manageable. You'd rather have 15, 16, 17, but anytime you take trips and play, it's going to skew your schedule a little bit. We're actually going to Vegas, Las Vegas this year. We're going to play Oklahoma City and Viterbo out of Wisconsin.
Do you need an honorary coach for that trip?
It's funny. I've had several people ask me about that.
I would imagine.
Excuse me. But we only have 13 home games, and only 9 of our first 26 are at home. We finish up with 4 straight on the road. So you couple 17 road games with 7 freshmen, and it's going to be a fun 3 months.
Yes.
So we've talked from day one. We have to find a way to win on the road.
Right.
And I like our attitude from that standpoint. Our first road experience was Saturday. We scrimmaged twice on Saturday. The first one wasn't real pleasant, we'll say, but we talked after the game. We came back the second one, and it really played well. Got a split on Saturday, so I think we understand a little bit better how to travel now with our young kids. But we have of our 30 games, 15 are against teams that are in the top 25 or receiving votes in their poll.
Right.
Kentucky Christian later on is a 14-time national champion. We've got them at home. We have 6 games against top teams in the top 8 in their respective divisions and polls. So we have a challenging schedule.
Yes.
To be as young as we are, but we're either going to sink or swim. So I think from a talent standpoint, we'll be able to swim. We just got to get them going. And I would like to talk one thing. February the 18th. We talk from a community standpoint.
Right.
Excuse me. February 18th is our game, doubleheader at the Expo against West Virginia Tech. And I'm a member of the WBCA, Women's Basketball Coaches Association, and they have a Think Pink week, 2-week period, and we use that game as our breast cancer awareness game. It used to be called the Think Pink game. Now they've changed it to Play for K.
Right.
Kay Yao was a former coach at North Carolina State, and it's odd because she was there when Jim Valvano was there, and obviously the Jimmy V Foundation, and Play for K is an offshoot of that foundation. And we'll have some things tied into that. Last 2 or 3 years we've wore pink uniforms, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that again this year. We changed some things, but we use that and try to raise awareness for that, and we make a donation to the Kay Yao Foundation. We've been nice enough to have some donations given to us to give to them, and plus we take some money and do some things like that. So that's one of the highlights, and our girls look forward to it. They are girls, and they, even though they're tremendous athletes, they like to get dolled up and dressed up and prettied up, and it gives them a chance. They wear, somebody the other day in practice talked about wearing pink shoes.
Yes.
Which I'm not opposed to that. I don't know if she's going to be able to find them, but if they want to do that, then they do that. And we've had some donations. We'll have the Kay Yao logo on our shooting shirts for that game, and it's pretty neat day.
No doubt about it. Bill Watson, the head coach of the U-Pike women's basketball program, and we'll be hearing from you on a weekly basis as you'll participate in the Kelly Wells Show from Jerry's Restaurant Tuesday evening. So we'll look forward to keeping up with the women's basketball program at the University of Pikeville, and you can throw me in the hat, put me on a waiting list, whatever, for the honorary coach for that Vegas trip.
We'll do that.
Best of luck for the upcoming season to you and the U-Pike women's team, and we look forward to a great season.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
That's been Bill Watson, head women's basketball coach at the University of Pikeville, where the 99 lead. For Bill Watson and the women's program, I'm Andrew Joyce. Good afternoon.